Hi there. Um, my name is Ron Estrada, and I have posted on this blog before. Jennifer asked me to do a post about podcasting, and I thought about that a bit, and I said, Jennifer, I've been doing a lot more, not with just podcasting, but with video lately as well, and I think that's something we need to get a little better at doing. Blogging still has its place, but as many of you have come to realize, it's falling off a little bit. When we first started, as little as 10 years ago, it was wide open. You could blog, and you people would just clamor to your blog. Well, maybe yours, not mine. But now they're just. I saw some incredible estimate of the number of millions of blogs that started up every day. So, being authors, whether we were indie authors or traditionally published, we were always looking for new ways to get noticed. And the only place to go after blogging is to audio and, of course, video. Um, so I don't do a lot with video. I've been playing around with Periscope lately, and which you can save off as well. If you haven't discovered Periscope yet, look up the Periscope app. It's run by Twitter. It's basically live video streaming. So it is the wild west of social media right now. So if you get a chance to check that out, take a look. And I'm on there, so look me up at Ron Estrada, all one word. So follow me on Twitter, and you can follow me on Periscope as well. But it's just another level. Uh, so that being said, let me come back to podcasting. Um, Podcasting to me is taking the place of what blogging was 10, 15 years ago. Uh, Probably for the only reason I can think of why more people aren't jumping on the bandwagon, because it does take a little more set up initial investment to podcast, and you can't just open up your WordPress podcast site and start recording and get going. It's not a big investment, but there are some upfront costs, and there's a little more software for you to have to know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to an on-screen recording and show you what the tools I use. Before I do that, though, I can't. I want to show you the microphone. It's nothing special, and I'll show you where I got that too. It's an Audio Technica. You don't want to use a high-end microphone unless you've got a soundproof room. This will pick up sounds from the kitchen. You might be hearing them even now, but it's not super sensitive. It's just quality enough where your voice doesn't sound like it's coming out of a can. If you try to use your computer mic, it will get kind of that muffled sound. It's not terrible. I mean, if you're just a writer wanting to, talk about your books or talk about writing to your readers and put that on your blog, that's fine. Um, but to get that quality sound, uh, this is one of the microphones I recommend, and I'll even take you to the guy who recommended it to me, the courses he offers. So it was $60 for the microphone. I bought a taller stand because I didn't like it sitting down low. It came with a stand that sat in lower. So, but all you need is that $60. Um, Headphones are important, and all I have are my regular old Sony airplane headphones. The crying child dampening headphones that all travelers must have. You can even use your little earbuds, because the only thing you want to make sure you don't do, typically we're talking to interviewing somebody through Skype, or in my case, I have a co-host, Gina Conroy, and sound coming out of the speakers will feed back to the mic. And if you've been watching TV for any number of years and have seen reporters and radio stations, you understand that concept. You can't have the sound coming back to the mic. So that's it. As far as the hardware goes, obviously besides your computer is your microphone and some headphones. So let me turn this around, and I'm going to put it up on screen so you can see some of the tools I use to podcast it. Okay, so there's my podcast. You already saw that, my website, and we are recording this for writing prompts and thoughts and ideas. Oh my, it's a blog that's been around for a while, and Jennifer has several people writing the columns for this, and it's just a blog for creative writers. And up to now, I think it's all been regular old-fashioned print. So I want to talk about podcasting to this group, and as well as Periscope, since we're doing that as well. You will need a hosting site for your podcast. If you don't know it, you can't simply upload your 30-minute podcast to your WordPress website. It won't allow you that kind of storage. You could probably buy it, if you're on GoDaddy or something. I think you can buy more storage if you wanted to, but I'm sure it would cost you an arm and a leg. The go-to site for podcasters, as far as I know, I'm sure there are others, but the one I was directed to was Libsyn. And it's not terribly expensive. I pay $15 a month for 150 megabyte of storage. Oh, can I find the pricing from here? Let me find the pricing. Well, I don't think I'm going to. Anyway, you'll want to buy the $15 plan. The $5 plan gets you about, I think that was the 50 megabyte storage, which is about 25 minutes of podcasting, which is not very much if you're going to podcast every week. Typically, we go with the $15 plan, which is 150 megabytes of storage. If somebody's watching me on the Periscope and that's wrong, let me know. Can't seem to find where the pricing is quickly. But here's my page. This is my dashboard for Teen Writers Publish, and it's fairly simple. It shows you the number of downloads per month. Gives you a nice little graph of how many downloads you have. You can where's my stats? You can look at the individual show stats. I get the monthly breakdown, and then show stats by episode. As you can see, I've only been doing this for 9 weeks now. I just released episode 9 today, and I have had 233 downloads of that first episode. When a show is this new, typically people will go back to those earlier shows and start listening to them from the beginning, and then slowly catch up. As the show progresses, in a year from now, they probably won't do that anymore. When I find a new podcast, I don't go back and listen to the last 50 episodes to try to catch up. So that's what Libsyn does for you. It's a very, very easy to use as far as uploading episodes. It's like uploading any other content. You go to a page, it says add content, add your media file, which you have saved onto your hard drive, and you upload it and you fill in the details. And I won't go over all that detail for you, but it's fairly simple to use. As far as doing the actual recording of your podcast, let me get on the side of the way. You're going to use good old Audacity. Audacity is free, shockingly, and very easy to use. You load it in, and if you were just recording by yourself, you would just hit the record button, and as you can see, I'm recording now. And it doesn't get much simpler than that. Editing a podcast is just as simple. It's not quite as intuitive, but if I had a portion of the podcast I needed to edit out, I would just highlight it and hit delete, and there it goes. It's gone. And there's some other features in there. Nice. You can do sound effects, fade in, fade out, all that fun stuff. For writers, we don't need to get that fancy. You can spend hours playing with it, which I did when I first started. Don't bother. You're recording this for other writers or perhaps your readers. They don't need all the fancy stuff. Now, most of the time, though, you will be recording with someone else or recording a guest. So for that, we use Skype. Believe it or not, Skype is the go-to recording device. If I can find mine. Pop that open. And is it going to come up? Here we go. Now, we don't need to start Skype, but as you can see, something else popped up with it that most of you will not see if you have Skype now. This is a call recorder. The brand name of this is Ecamm. Ecamm.com is where I got this. There's a different one for PC and Mac, so make sure if you get it, you download the right one. It also is not free, I believe. I'm pulling it up on my other screen right now. I believe I paid, yes, $30 for the Ecamm recorder. Worth every penny. Now, when you do a recording with your Skype and your Ecamm, you saw it popped up automatically. As soon as I were to call somebody or somebody called me and answered it, I got it set so it starts recording automatically. You want to do that because eventually you're going to be halfway through an interview and realize you forgot to hit the record button. The nice thing about Ecamm is it automatically records all that. You don't have to pull up your Audacity right now. It makes the recording for you, and it saves them off into a recorded movie file. Pulls it off into the saved call file. It records it as a movie file. You can set it to record video or audio or just audio. Sometimes I like to leave it on just audio so I'm not using up too much bandwidth. But once you have that movie file, you save all. You have to convert that to an audio format. And don't worry, I'm going to take you to a website after I'm done here. The guy who did this little program walks you through all this and gives you plenty of notes. You need to convert, and these are Quicken add-ons. You can get them from the not Quicken, QuickTime add-ons. You can get them from the QuickTime site. You can do things like split the movie tracks, which I always start with. I'll take that movie and split the tracks, and that's a very simple drag and drop feature. So if I were to take, let's say this movie here, and I think that's still in 2 tracks. That's me and my co-host Gina Conroy made a recording this week. Drop it into the split movie tracks, and it just runs, and it makes 2 different tracks. I don't know if you guys can see that on the screen. It makes 2 different movie tracks for you. Why is that important? Because when you're editing, you'll want to be able to, if I'm talking and whoever I'm interviewing, or if it's Gina and they've got some noise going on in the background, I can erase that from their track without screwing up mine. So you don't have to split the tracks. It's just something I recommend. Once I discovered it, I was thrilled with having that ability. The next thing you want to do now that it's still in a movie format, though, you see it's still QuickTime Movie, you'll want to convert it to AIFF format. These are these QuickTime add-ons. This program is converted to AIFF. That's for Macintosh, and then AAC for PC. So again, it works the same way. I would take that, open it, opens that nice little box. I can take that movie format, drop it in there, and presto, I've got an AIFF format right there, which I can then, you guys follow me? Don't worry, Periscopers, I'm going to take you to a website that makes all this much easier than I did it. I can take that, let me delete this file. Once I get my Audacity going, I can take that AIF file, drag it there, and there's my show. That was for track 1. And yeah, kind of messed up because I did that just with that 1 track. I didn't do the 2 tracks. But let me open up my actual shows here. My Team Writers published shows. And you guys can probably hear all that noise in the background. That's fine when you're podcasting. Unless you've got a private room, give it up, man. You're going to be fighting that all the time. So, Teen Writers Published. And in my awesome filing system, I have, let me grab the show from this week. I'm going to delete that one. And as you can see over there on my other screen, I've got I keep these lined up. I've got all the episodes in separate folders, right from the original movie file to the split track. So there's track 1, oops, from this week. I'm just going to drag that into my Audacity file. And just going to chunk away there for a minute. And again, you don't have to split the tracks, but you're going to find there's going to be one time where you're talking to somebody and something happens, in the room behind them or something that you just really want to edit that out, or they sneeze or something. I don't do a lot of editing anymore. I think podcasting is more natural. It's a little more leisurely than than a radio show. We're not radio DJs. We're not professionals. Just like on Periscope, we're not professional TV people. It's very relaxed. You get to know each other, and that's kind of the same way podcasting. Yes, that is Audacity. For those listening on the blog, somebody popped up on Periscope and asked me a question. That is Audacity. It is free. I know some people. I've been told GarageBand works too, the one that comes with Apple. I've never understood GarageBand, but I'm a little lazy, so the first program I use, it becomes the one that's perfect, and I will never change again. So, yes, I got 2 tracks. This is the same conversation. Adobe Audition, somebody is recommending. Okay, I'm going to check that out. Is that free? Do you know? And again, for my blog watchers, and this is this is me trying to juggle lots of things at the same time for my blog watchers. I'm getting comments on Periscope. I'll talk about Periscopes in another blog post, but and I can read their comments. And one of my friends here, Chubby Ewok, nice name, I like that. Chubby, would you put that back up there? I already forgot it. And he's recommending another piece of software for me. And I'm hoping they'll put it back up on the screen because I already forgot it, because I am closing in on 50 and things get fuzzy. So that's what your podcast looks like to you in bare minimum. Now you will go through and listen to it. Let me just...
Welcome to another episode of Teen Writers Publish. I'm here with
Adobe
Ron Estrada, and I'm Gina
okay,
Conroy.
I'll check that out.
We're your co-hosts for this latest episode. We're going to be talking about active versus passive writing.
And like I said, I won't do a lot of editing.
Ron,
but let's say I got to this point
I
and I wanted to, cut out some background noise. First of all, I have to lock those so that they are co-joined. And again, when you go through this training series I'm going to show you in a minute, which is free, by the way, he explains all that. And you can get all this off of YouTube too. There's probably got to be 1,000 people out there teaching how to use the software. You can just cut out anything that you don't want in there, and you're all set. I've also got an intro and an outro file that I have pre-recorded. Actually, it was Gina's daughter that pre-recorded them, and I do the same thing. I drop them into this, and then I can take and once I drop in the intro and outro, let me put one in there to show you. Okay, there's my intro.
Welcome to another
And it's just
episode
the
of
music.
Teen Writers Publish.
I got
I'm
the
here
music
with
for
Ron
$15.
Estrada, and I'm Gina Conroy.
But as
We're
you can see,
co-hosts.
I don't want that audio playing over that, so I can just take that whole thing. Oops, got to unlock it first time. And I can take and slide that over. Now you'll see I've detached my top portion of the audio, which will sound really bad, but Audacity makes that very easy to line back up, except when I'm trying to record it. Okay, there you go. There it is. So now you can record an intro, an outro, whatever you want to do, announcements, and plug it all into Audacity. Then I simply save that file up. Well, there's a couple more steps. You do an edit, select all tracks. Once I do select all, I'll do a mix and render of the tracks, and then I'll do a file export and make it again for Apple, it's an AIFF file. If you were doing this via a PC, you'd use the Microsoft the WAV file. Save that off, and then once you have that saved off, you import that into your iTunes file, and that allows you to right-click and create an MP3 file. I'm not going to go through all that. It's a little convoluted, and besides, I'm being called to dinner, so I'm going to cut it a little short and show you a website you can go to and get all this in a beautiful
free series of videos. This is called the Podcast Incubator. He's not the only guy out there doing this. There's others. He just happened to be the one that was recommended to me. But his website is podcastincubator.com. And I think it's I want to say seven videos, and they're about 10 minutes each. And those are free. And then if you want to do the advanced course, he'll charge you $97 for that. I found the free was everything I really needed to do my writer's podcast. But that's what I would recommend you do. So, guys, thanks for listening in. And for those of you who joined me through Periscope, thanks for hanging out. It was kind of long, and it was a little tedious with me trying to juggle three things at once here. But I appreciate your showing up. Be sure to follow me, right swipe, give me a follow, and I'll talk to you later.
Dinner is ready.
You're alive.